Thank you to everyone for taking the time out today to hear about the advanced pricing topic here, and specifically around insight reporting. Just wanted to take a moment here to introduce Insight Software briefly. Insight is a company where we focus on a product that provides real-time reporting and inquiry solutions for various parts of JDE Edwards. We have a good footprint over content around JDE Edwards. We have 500 companies that use Insight, 4 of which are shown here on this particular screen, and offices around the world. Insight's a dynamic, fast-growing company focused on maintaining or improving your experience with your ERP system. So let's get on to the topic at hand here. And I wanted to start by characterizing a little bit what life can be like using advanced pricing. Before I get into this, I wanted to just mention, as Heather talked about earlier, I have a pretty long history with advanced pricing, working on the development team at JDE Edwards and the strategy team and so on. I love advanced pricing. I think it is a powerful and flexible solution, and I think it really is something that can be leveraged to very much help in a critical part of your business, which is getting the right price on the products that you're selling. So 2 points here about advanced pricing. Powerful, feature-rich application, and it's very flexible. So as your business decides to try new strategies around pricing, it's quite likely that advanced pricing is going to be able to keep up with you. The result of some of this power and some of this flexibility, however, are some downsides to advanced pricing. Advanced pricing can be a very complex tool to use. It can become confusing as well as being difficult to manage. And so what I want to do is kind of drill into some of these challenges that result from the complexity that exists within advanced pricing. And 3 primary challenges that exist around using this particular product within JDE Edwards. Number 1, you can wind up with a large amount of data. The screens that you use to deal with advanced pricing in JDE Edwards are complex, and they can become a challenge to navigate around. And number 3, it's not always easy to get answers out of advanced pricing, both in terms of how your configurations are designed as well as what actually happened. What was the cost of running a particular discount program? So let's go into some of the details on here. Number 1, just talking about quantity of data. A couple of examples here. Number 1, we've got schedules. And the schedules are really the starting point in advanced pricing. You define a pricing schedule, and what that is going to do for you is determine for a transaction which adjustments or discounts are going to be eligible to be applied to a particular transaction. And it's not uncommon to see a company that's been using advanced pricing for a while end up with a large number of adjustments that are eligible on a transaction. Or to put that in advanced pricing speak, a lot of adjustments appearing on your price adjustment schedule. And that can become difficult to deal with. It's also not uncommon to see companies that have hundreds of thousands or even millions of adjustment detail records. And what an adjustment detail record is really where the rubber meets the road in advanced pricing. An adjustment detail record contains the instruction that says, for instance, when this customer buys this product, provide them with a X% discount. So the result of having this large amount of data that exists within your advanced pricing configurations are a couple of things. Number 1, it's not easy to review all of that information. So it can be difficult to go into your advanced pricing configurations and quickly and efficiently figure out kind of what's going on in advanced pricing. And number 2, this can result in performance issues. A large amount of data that's out there can cause the searches that are going on during your advanced pricing to take a while. And that can be a problem. You know, advanced pricing is happening, the processing of advanced pricing occurs at a critical time in your business process. You've got maybe a customer service rep on the phone with a customer entering an order into the system, and you don't want to have them have to wait for 30 seconds or a minute even to get back information about how much the cost is going to be to the customer. So that's really kind of the summary of the challenge that can occur around advanced pricing with the quantity of data that's out there. We also talk about complexity, and the way that I want to kind of illustrate why advanced pricing can become so complex is to just go through this and show you this list of features that exist within advanced pricing. These are all advanced pricing features, not meant to be an exclusive or an all-inclusive list of advanced pricing features, but there's a lot to it. As I mentioned before, this is one of the reasons I really love advanced pricing, is that it's such a powerful tool for your business. But the result of that, there's a lot of features within advanced pricing. And the screens that you use to build your advanced pricing configurations are built to accommodate all of these features and more. There's more that aren't listed here. Now, the reality is, in your particular business, you're probably not using all of these. In fact, I've never seen anybody that was using every feature of advanced pricing. So the reality of the situation is that for your business, you may be using only a limited number of the features that exist within advanced pricing. But the screens are designed to handle all of the features of advanced pricing. And so it can become difficult to navigate and pick and choose through those screens exactly what settings are that you need to set up in your configuration. So the JDE screens are complex, and that is in order to handle the vast number of features that exist within this product. But the downside to that is there can be some pitfalls in the configuration. So some examples of pitfalls that may be out there as you're configuring JD Edwards advanced pricing are effective dates. There's more than one place where you can configure effective dates in advanced pricing. That exists on the price adjustment schedule. It exists on the adjustment detail, as well as in the base price table, if you're using that. Hierarchies can be a pitfall. So you're using a preference hierarchy. That's really the starting point for advanced pricing, and that is a very important configuration. If you change a preference hierarchy, that can have ripple effects across a lot of parts of your advanced pricing. You've got things to deal with like adjustment types and adjustment options, and that's what this is here on the left is an example of adjustment options that you have in advanced pricing. If you check the wrong box in here, or the wrong collection of boxes, you could have significant impacts on how your pricing is going to turn out. And then finally, the last challenge I want to talk about is around getting answers from JD Edwards advanced pricing. And really the crux of this is that the inquiries that exist within JD Edwards, the standard screens that you use to deal with advanced pricing, are really optimized for getting information into the system. They are data entry type of screens. And there's a question out there then about how do you get information out. So some examples of questions that you might want to ask of JD Edwards Advanced Pricing are, do we have any customer-specific adjustments for a particular customer? Do I have any item-specific adjustments? So I'm looking at a particular item. I want to know whether I've got any specific discounts that are applying to this item that exists in my system. It may not be that easy to get that answer without poking around and doing a fair amount of investigation work in advanced pricing. Does the adjustment that I'm looking at, I've got a discount that I've configured, have I placed it on any schedules? Or, in other words, in layman terms, have I made this discount eligible to be assigned to any transactions? And what was the total cost of a discount? That's another question that you might ask that's not necessarily easy to get out of the system. So maybe I've run a promotional discount for a month, and at the end of that month, I want to see how much money I gave away as a part of that discount. That may not be the easiest answer to get out of JD Edwards. So, the bottom line around these challenges around JD Edwards Advanced Pricing. Number one, because of the complexity and the amount of data that builds up in your configurations, it can be difficult and therefore costly to maintain your configurations in advanced pricing. It's not uncommon to hear about companies that actually hire additional people in order to help them deal with their advanced pricing. There can also be a performance impact, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but because of the complexity of some of these configurations, there's definitely ways that you can shoot yourself in the foot. And you can configure things in such a way in advanced pricing that it can take a long time for JD Edwards to get the information out and determine what the price should be on a transaction. And the third, and really the one that I want to focus on primarily here, is that as a result of some of these challenges, there can be a high potential for errors in pricing. And having an error in pricing can be a costly and negative situation. Number one, if you have priced something too low, you can be looking at a situation where you've got lost revenue for your business. If you've priced something too high, you could be looking at the cost of having to re-invoice a customer. Not to mention the fact that if you're having to re-invoice a customer too often, you're going to be looking at a loss of their customer satisfaction. They may start looking to your competitors that they feel like have a better handle on how much they need to be paid for their products. So just to drive this home, I wanted to bring up a few examples of pricing errors. This is a retail example here. This is a bottle of baby shampoo that apparently is going for $239, which is great if you can get it. This is a good business to be in if you can get $239 for a bottle of baby shampoo. It's great for the company that's selling it anyway. Probably not too great for the person when they get home and realize how much they paid to keep their kids' hair clean. So, especially since it's probably only going to last for about 5 minutes before they get spaghetti in it. Here's another example. How would you like this headline to come out about your company? This is an example from Dell. They had a website that they had created for the Army and the Air Force for some special deals on products. And what they had done was what they wanted to do was offer a 25% discount on a particular laptop right before the holidays for these folks. What they ended up doing was selling the laptop for $25 instead. So if you know advanced pricing, you may know that may be a pretty easy mistake that could be made in advanced pricing. If you use the wrong basis code, you could switch a 25% discount to be a $25 override price, actually relatively easily. So that's definitely not good press to have towards your company. Here's another example from Zappos.com, a popular shoe retailer on the web. These guys took a $1.6 million loss because they had a pricing error. And essentially what it was a sister site of theirs that they did the pricing for called 6pm.com for about 6 hours was running a deal where the maximum price on their product was $49.95. There's actually a nice quote from Tony Jay, who's the CEO of Zappos.com here talking about this. He says, "Unfortunately, the way to input new rules into the current version of our pricing engine requires near programmer skills to manipulate, and a few symbols were missed in the coding of a new rule, which resulted in items that were sold exclusively on 6pm.com to have a maximum price of $49.95. So, again, none of these examples are specific to JD Edwards advanced pricing, but I think it's easy for us to imagine this type of error occurring in advanced pricing within JD Edwards as well. Okay, so we've talked quite a bit about some of the complexity and some of the challenges that exist within JD Edwards advanced pricing. And I wanted to bring up a few suggestions about how you can tame some of this complexity and how you can more easily deal with the configurations that you have within advanced pricing. And the first suggestions that I want to make are actually some features that exist within JD Edwards Advanced Pricing that you may or may not be aware of. These are some things that I think are lesser known amongst the JD Edwards community. And so I wanted to call attention to some of these things. And the first one is a feature that came out in the JD Edwards E1 8.9 release called Customer Price Lists. And what this is a capability that allows you to run a large number of pricing scenarios using a batch process. And so what you do is you define for a particular set of customers, a particular set of items at various quantity levels, some pricing scenarios that you want to run. And this customer price list, UBE, will go through and it will price those various scenarios for you and give you a feature of advanced pricing that you can use to kind of just give yourself a sanity check on your advanced pricing to make sure that things are coming out as you would expect. If you have some new configurations that you're putting in place, this is a good way to test those out and make sure that they're coming out, again, as you would have expected.
Justin, we have a good pertinent question on this. A question has come in, is this the web-based version of JD Edwards only? And I think you just answered that. So this is both, you're going to cover World a little bit, but this is mainly for E1. Is this web version only, or is this?
So this gives you a screen where you can look at that so that you can have kind of a reality check to make sure that your pricing is coming out as you would expect it, as well as the ability to print that out and send that information to the customer if you so choose. So that's a really nice particular enhancement. So there's various releases that I'll talk about. This particular enhancement came out in the 8.9 release. So if you are on 8.9 or beyond, then you have access to this. So you don't have the web release was 8.11. So if you're on 8.9 or XE or 8.10, those are kind of pre-web, or at least there's a fat client available still for those releases. So this is available there. It's not available in World, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Okay. The next one to talk about that I wanted to mention here is the Skip2 enhancement. This one came out in the 8.12 release of Enterprise One. And what Skip2 does is it allows you in a pricing schedule, and we actually have an example of this here on the right. What Skip2 allows you to do is within a schedule, when you encounter an adjustment that is going to apply to a transaction, it allows you to define where in the schedule you want to skip down to. So here we've got the situation where we've got a number of adjustments that are eligible for the transaction, and that's what we're doing with our schedule here. And by entering the number 50 in the Skip2 field for the OEM promotion discount, when that applies to a given transaction, advanced pricing will skip, in this case, the holiday and the regional adjustments, 30 and 40, and it will start processing again at the quantity discount at adjustment 50 here on this particular schedule. So this is useful for a couple of reasons, and I bring it up here because you can use this to simplify your schedules. A couple of scenarios. Number one, if you're using any override prices in advanced pricing, the way that you need to make those work, so basically what that's saying is that, okay, I want the price for this product to be, say, $10. The way that you need to make that work without Skip2 is you put that adjustment at the bottom of your schedule so that advanced pricing goes through it, evaluates all of its discount potential, and then at the very bottom it says, okay, but now I've got an override price. I want to ignore everything in the past and make this price $10. With Skip2, you can take that override price and put it at the top of your schedule instead and say, if my override price applies, I want you to skip all the other discounts that are eligible here on this schedule and just make that the price. So that can simplify your configurations a bit. You can also use this in a case where you've got maybe a few different adjustments, but you would only ever want one to be applied to a transaction. Another way that you can kind of simplify that configuration. Another enhancement to, or another capability to look at to help you simplify your schedules is the master schedule capability. This exists in World only. It came out in the 8.1 release of World. And what this allows you to do is create kind of subschedules and then group them together in master schedules that you actually put together to determine what your eligible adjustments are going to be. So that can be a nice way to help you simplify your adjustments, to group them into smaller bits and then combine those smaller bits into the master schedule that gives you the actual eligible adjustments that are appearing on your transactions. And then finally, there's a capability called Price Workbench and Mass Maintenance. These are two enhancements that came out together in the 8.9 release, and they work together to help you modify lots of different adjustment detail records. And again, those are the instructions that actually tell you what to do to a transaction. So for instance, you can bring up a lot of adjustment detail records all at once using the Price Workbench and then go to edit all of those at the same time. So for instance, if you have a promotion that you initially wanted to run for the month of April and then you want to extend that by 2 weeks, you can go into Mass Maintenance and modify the expiration date on lots and lots of different adjustment detail records all at the same time. So that's another handy capability out there that can help you kind of get a better handle and help you maintain the large number of records that you may have in your pricing configurations. Okay. One thing, though, that you'll notice about all of these, and the question came up about this, is that these are not applicable across all the releases of JD Edwards that you may be running, and there is some additional opportunity here for improvement. And so at Insight, we decided a while ago that we wanted to address this problem. And so I wanted to take a few minutes here just to talk to you a little bit about Insight's products and how we think we can help you with your maintenance of your advanced pricing configurations. So very quickly, what is Insight? Insight is what are our products that exist within Insight. Insight has a suite of products, and the objective of all of these products is to help you improve your experience with JD Edwards. So our customers use Insight to do things like inquiring over JD Edwards information with inquiry screens. It's used for reporting. It's used for reconciliation between accounts. We have a budgeting product. We have charting capabilities for analytics and so on. A couple of things that are always true about Insight's products. Number one, we're always real time. So we're always looking at your information that exists in your JD Edwards database. So we don't have a data warehouse. We don't stage data, anything like that. We're always giving you real-time view into data that exists in your JD Edwards. So in the advanced pricing context, that means that as soon as you made a change to your advanced pricing configurations, you can use Insight to see what that change has resulted in. Number two, our products are always designed for business users. They do not require an IT background in order to use Insight's tools to create reports and inquiries. I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to talk about a couple of concepts that exist within the Insight product line called templates and SmartSets. Number one, a template is a flexible starting point that you can use to build an Insight report or an Insight inquiry. We use the terms report and inquiry interchangeably. So these are flexible or templates are a flexible content item that you can use to build lots of different types of reports within Insight reporting. And they also give you a starting point. So you're never really going to have to start from a blank sheet of paper when you're building a report in Insight. And then SmartSets are just collections of templates. Okay, so within Insight we have a broad range of SmartSets that help you really run the gamut of the JD Edwards functionality. So finance, human capital, distribution, and we're talking specifically about a SmartSet that we've recently created called for advanced pricing. And when we've created this SmartSet, we had a few objectives. Number one, we wanted to match the flexibility of advanced pricing with this tool to give you inquiry capabilities over it. As I mentioned earlier, advanced pricing is a very flexible tool, and we feel like Insight is a very flexible reporting tool, and so we wanted to match up the flexibility of advanced pricing with a reporting tool that can meet up with that level of flexibility. We wanted to give our users the power to create specific inquiries that match their business. So in the advanced pricing context, what that might mean is, maybe you're not using complex customer groups in your business. Well, you can very easily create an inquiry using Insight that doesn't include anything about complex customer groups. But the flexibility of the tool really allows you to do that. So you can match up your inquiries to what your business is using in advanced pricing, and even you can create your own inquiries to match multiple different scenarios that you're using within your business. We wanted to give you the ability to quickly investigate what's going on inside of your pricing configurations, so very quickly get in there and get questions answered. And we wanted to give you visibility into what discounts have been given to your customers. So I wanted to go through and show you a few sample reports that have been developed using the advanced pricing SmartSet within Insight. Number one, this is an example over the preference hierarchies, and this is a screenshot from Insight reporting, so you can see hopefully there's some familiar user interface concepts. If you're used to using Microsoft Office products, we have a ribbon bar, that sort of thing. And what we're looking at here is a listing of preference types that exist within advanced pricing. Just to call out a couple of things here. First of all, using this inquiry, I can see the configurations that I have built for all of my preference types all in one place. So I don't have to go in and out of my individual preference types to see how they've been configured, which you would have to do using JD Edwards screens. Number two, we're using our conditional formatting capability to highlight preference hierarchies where I've got more than 4 levels in them. And so a preference hierarchy level is an instruction to do a search, and so Oracle recommends that you not have more than 4 levels in your hierarchies within advanced pricing because that can cause performance issues. And so we've built this in so that we've got in this example, we've got highlighting to show you where you've got more than 4 levels in there. One of the really nice features that exists within Insight is our linking capability, and so I wanted to show you what this might look like here. What we can do is if I right-click on one of these preference hierarchy rows, I have the ability, I can go down to this follow links, and I can say, okay, well, which adjustments are using this preference type? And when I follow that link, it's going to take me to another Insight report that I've built that's going to list out the adjustments that are using that particular preference hierarchy. And so that's very handy. If I'm looking at making changes to my preference hierarchies, this will tell me which adjustments are going to be impacted by that change. And it's very easy to do that type of navigation. Those navigations are those links are completely user definable, so it's up to you to decide how you want to create that navigation. Okay, next example to show you here is our adjustment schedule view. A couple things to point out here. We're showing you in this particular example, we're showing you the adjustments that are appearing on multiple schedules all at once. That's something you can't do in JDE Edwards standard screens. And I've also built a conditional calculation to show me or highlight for me in yellow where I've got adjustment schedule records that are not currently effective. So that can help me avoid that pitfall of my effective dates. Now this next one is another report that I've built using the same template. So I've got two reports here that are both built using the adjustment schedule template. And in this case, I've just turned things around a little bit. So rather than grouping at the schedule level here, I'm grouping that same information at the adjustment level. And what I've produced then is an adjustment where used report. So here, if I've got a question of I've created some kind of a discount in an adjustment schedule, I can use this report in an adjustment, I can use this report to tell me whether I've made that adjustment eligible for any transactions. And again, this is just to give you an idea of how flexible the templates can be. This report was built using the same exact template as the previous report that we were looking at. Here's an example for adjustment details. Again, we're looking at information for more than one adjustment detail at a time, so that's very handy. I've brought in that same highlighting yellow so I can see where I've got adjustment details that aren't effective currently. And also I wanted to show you our filtering capabilities. So in this example, I've filtered by address number up here, 4242, and this is going to show me very quickly that I have some adjustment details that are specific to this one particular customer. So it's very easy for me to go in there and get that type of question answered about my pricing configurations. Here's an example from the transaction side. What we're looking at here is broken out by adjustment, how much of the sales value, in other words, how much did I give away on transactions, again, broken out by customer. So this is on the transaction side. This is answering a question of what happened with my advanced pricing adjustments. And of course, we do have charting and graphing capability. This gives you a nice quick view by adjustment of how much was given away by adjustment in a particular date range. So lots of cool kind of capabilities of how you can view information about what went on within advanced pricing. Okay, so just to review very quickly, hopefully you can see, based on those examples, that we hit these four primary objectives around matching the flexibility of advanced pricing, giving you the ability to create inquiries that are specific for your business scenarios, giving you the ability to quickly do investigations over your configurations, and giving you access or giving you visibility into what happened on the transactional end of advanced pricing. So addressing the challenges that exist within advanced pricing, number one, we talk about the large amount of data. Insight's SmartSet addresses that using the capability of filters, using the ability to create links and drill downs so that you can investigate what's going on in your pricing configurations, giving you at one screen information across multiple adjustments or multiple schedules all in one place so you can very quickly review large amounts of data. Also, the challenge of complex screens, you can use Insight's flexibility to match up what you're looking at with the features of advanced pricing that you actually use. You can also use it to help you avoid pitfalls that exist within advanced pricing. So an example that I showed you there is where we're highlighting in yellow any adjustment details or schedule records that are not currently effective. And also we showed you getting answers out. So we've got charting capability. We've got very quick access into the data that exists within advanced pricing so that you can answer the questions about your pricing configurations or about what actually happened on the transactional side of things. So for more information about this, you can visit our website at insightsoftware.com. You can email me or give me a call. I'm happy to answer any questions that exist about advanced pricing, as I can help, or certainly about the advanced pricing SmartSet for Insight. This is available today. Came out as a part of our 2012.1 release, which came out about 2 weeks ago. So at this point, that kind of ends the formal part of the presentation, and I wanted to make sure that we do get to questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to enter that information in the question box. And I think we do have one out here. Okay, we've got a question here. In 8.12, there's a bug on the mass maintenance, and it does not give you the option to edit. Has this been fixed in a later version? Interesting. So I presume that that's been fixed. I don't represent Oracle anymore. Certainly, when I was running strategy for advanced pricing, if I found out there was a bug that did not allow you to maintain things using mass maintenance, I would have put that as a high priority. So hopefully Oracle has gotten to that and is addressing that issue. That certainly is an important one. Okay, so another question here. It says, transactionally, how deeply can you slice and dice the discounts by customer, by part? Yeah, absolutely. So Insight's grid is very intelligent in terms of how it gives you the ability to slice and dice. And basically what it does, what we've done here is we've created a value that tells you what the discount amount was on a given transaction. And what you can do is just based on what columns you choose to include on your report, Insight will aggregate accordingly. So if you wanted to do a slice and dice by customer and by part on there, all you would do is drag and drop the customer column and the part column onto your report and include the discount amount value or amount on there, and Insight will do that slicing and dicing for you. You could do it by lots of different things as well. You could do it by customer category code or item category code. You could do it by date ranges. So there's lots of different options in terms of how you can slice and dice the information. Insight is a very powerful tool when it comes to helping you kind of manage the way that you want to look at your data that way. Okay, another question, how about basket pricing? The basket pricing seems not working properly in our JDE system. So not sure which version of JD Edwards you're using. Baskets are definitely a challenging feature. That's a complicated feature of advanced pricing. A couple of things that I would mention to you about getting baskets up and running properly. Number one, consider using the enhanced baskets capability. That is, to my mind, that's something that came out again in the 8.9 release, and to my mind, that is a simpler way to manage basket pricing. It doesn't rely quite so much on the values that exist on the item master, and allows you a little bit more flexibility in terms of how you manage those baskets. So I'm not sure if you're using enhanced baskets, but that would be certainly a place that I would look to guide you on that. If there are bugs in advanced pricing baskets, I would have to refer you to Oracle. Unfortunately, I don't represent Oracle anymore. Okay, so here's another question. Can we create a professional customer price list? And if so, how can we do it? Absolutely. So one of the templates that we have created within Insight is around the customer price list information. So I think maybe what this is referring to is that there is a UBE that allows you to print out the information that you've developed as part of your customer price list scenarios. That UBE may not be as the output from that UBE may not be as professional as somebody might like it. And absolutely, within Insight, we've created a template over customer price list information, so you have the ability to use Insight to format that information exactly as you want it. You can include the columns that you want on there very, very easily. And again, Insight is a tool that is built for end users. So it is up to you as a user of JD Edwards, or somebody that is going to be producing this output for customers. It's up to you to create those reports, and Insight gives you the capability to do that. So things like formatting, bolding, italics, anything like that. You can change background colors to match it up. You can include a logo for your company. All of that sort of stuff very easily using this smart set that we've created. Does Insight offer any demo software to validate the value of this tool for our specific pricing structures? We can do some things with you on that. So Insight's installation process takes around 1 hour. Basically, Insight is a pre-built software that understands how your JD Edwards data is structured. And so the installation process for this product is quite simple. And it takes about 1 hour. And so one of the things that we do sometimes, if it's absolutely necessary to you, is we can actually do an installation in your environment prior to demonstrating the software to you. So that's a pretty common thing that we do, actually. You can then see what this software would look like over your environment, and if necessary, actually, we can even leave it with you for a couple of weeks so that you can play around with it and validate that it works for you. So absolutely the answer is yes to that question of whether Insight can offer demo software.
So if they're interested in that, how do they go about doing that?
If you're interested in having a look at advanced pricing and validating that it works for your environment, they can contact me about that. And also, we'll be sending a survey out about this webinar, hopefully to get all of your glowing comments about how well I've done today. So if you want to respond to that, that's a fine way to get back to us as well.